Today is a day all about BMW because today I am pulling out some of my old BMW projects and working out what needs to be done and creating some checklists. And I'm going to be working on one of those projects because I've got some rear lights to change on my old E38 740i. But before we do that, OG viewers will remember my BMW Z3 2.8, the pre-facelift car. It's been in storage for a while and it's filthy. And of course, the mighty E36 328i Sport, which I absolutely adore and has also been left in storage and is absolutely filthy. But not for much longer, because today's the day we're going to pull these out and get these a little bit cleaner so we can do some work on them. The 328i wasn't too dirty, so a quick rinse with the jet wash to take off as much of the dust as we can, and then a quick snow foam. Again, just letting that dwell a little bit to pull off some of that dried on dust. Nicola has then just quickly rinsed the car off. We did the wheels with some Built Amber wheel cleaner, and that was pretty much all it needed. The Z3 was dirtier, so we pre-rinsed it, got as much of the contamination off as we could, and then hit that up with some citrus pre-wash and put a snow foam over the top, including under the bonnet, to make sure that we're trying to get as much dirt off as we can. Agitated the window trims, and then gave the rest of the car a full rinse off with the jet wash before literally just working the wheels in the arches a little bit more and then drying the car finally using a large drying towel. Citrus pre-wash on the E38, and again not too dirty, so a quick rinse over with the jet wash, snow foam, and yeah, the car was pretty much ready. Though I did have to go over these wheels again. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this next scene is definitely not up to the standard of Bad Teacher and no Cameron Diaz. Now, regular viewers will know why some of these projects have been left for quite a while, including this magnificent 740 with its beautiful V8 engine. And she's still looking reasonably good, but there's work to do. And we've actually created a couple of problems by leaving her. This E36 328i Sport, I absolutely and utterly love this car. It's a beautiful thing with those Alpina wheels on. But we've still got those jobs to do. But before I tell you about that one, let's go on to another. So we've got a water pump, thermostat, etc. to fit, new auxiliary belt, and we're going to get this up and running. And then again, there's some body work to do. The car was scraped last year on the wing. These wheels need a refurb, and there's a few other bits and bats that we would like to do to make this usable again this year. And I'm going to tune this car this year, eventually. But before I do that, I need to repair and replace these rear lights, which are bloated and cracked and not working on the E38. And I have to clean the boot out because I've got so many tools in this car. It's got a little bit out of control. Once I've got that out, I've got access to the rear lights. So I've had a problem with these lights on this E38. Not least because of the fact that they are oxidised and bloated and not working, but also because I ordered a set of lights from a breaker on Facebook and he was a bit of a scam merchant. They never arrived. However, I don't think it was a genuine scam. I think he just oversold and then couldn't get his hands on more sets. I did get my cash back from him. I then went and ordered another set from another breaker on Facebook Marketplace, and again, they never arrived. Unfortunately, again, I did actually manage to get my money back. On the third attempt, with a guy that I know who had a set of rear lights for sale, I ordered them, paid for them from him, and miraculously, they arrived. So we've now got a set of lights to put onto this, which I'm hoping is going to freshen up this back end and make it look, yeah, just a lot nicer than it does. Now, these are pre-facelift rear lights, and it's a common problem with the E38, this cracking and oxidisation and the actual light swelling. Facelift lights have got clear indicators, so they're on a post-2000 car, I think, and I didn't really want to go with that type of look. I wanted to keep it a bit more OEM. This should be a pretty easy job to change these lights. I'm guessing there's going to be a few nuts and the electrical connectors, and that should be it. Let's crack on. As expected, the driver's side was a piece of cake, literally total access to the rear light. Took literally a handful of minutes to just get this off and out. Cleaned it up to make sure that we got all the dirt out from behind the rear lights while the rear light was out, and then wiped it down before going and fitting the rear lights and swapping the bulbs over. Refitting is pretty simple. There are 4 8mm bolts and 1 11mm bolt. Literally just slide it back into place and tighten them down from the inside. Don't over tighten them, swap the bulbs out, and that's number 1 done. So we've got a little bit more to do here. To get easy in, I'm going to take actually some of this stuff out. I've just taken off the boot cover that covers the CD changer. I've got to take this apart anyway because the sat nav's not working, so I've just gone and popped that sat nav unit out. This drives most of the screen up front, and that's why the screen's not working, I think. And I didn't realise that at first. I actually swapped the unit in the front, but yeah, we're going to try and have to go through this and try and get the screen working, but it's going to be easier to get to the rear light, so let's do that now. So, had to take a few things out, and now I'm going to test these before everything's fully tightened up. Being an idiot, I haven't fully connected the electrical connector on the passenger side, and when I was reversing the car out, I noticed that there is some difference in the brightness of the bulbs, which makes me think that the bulbs that we swapped out from the original lights have maybe not been fitted correctly. They're not the correct bulbs, so that's the next job. So that's the rear lights fitted to the E38, and I'm sure you'll agree that these look way better than the ones that were on there. It's really freshened up the car, makes it look nice and clean, and of course they've got the added benefit that they work, which is a real advantage to stop people driving into the back of you. Now, next thing on the list is this, which is a door handle for the passenger side front. Now, this snapped off a while ago and I haven't replaced it. I did find this, which is a silver one, so obviously this is going to have to go to the painters to be painted, so we can't fit that until then. I am going to take a look at the job of fitting it and what needs to be done. There's a little hole in the side of the door where I think I can get to part of this mechanism, but knowing BMW and knowing an E38, likely to be lots and lots of things to take off to get to it because everything's really over-engineered. So what else do we need to do? We had the Style 32 alloys refurbished last year, but I'm still not completely convinced that they're the right wheels for the car. They look great and they're one of my favourite standard wheel on this car, but I really think I would like something from one of the tuning companies like AC Schnitzer or Hartger or Harman or something of that nature on this to make it a little bit more bling, but still kind of OEM plus, if that makes sense. I've got these trims to deal with where you can see there's chipping and fading and also a little bit of corrosion going on down here, so I'm going to have to try and figure out how to deal with that and whether or not I can get these actually replaced. Some of these trims are starting to come away, so I need to look at the clips that hold these in and make sure that they can be replaced. The same problem on this side, that these aren't connecting and staying in, and this bottom trim is broken, so I need a replacement piece for that. I also think that I would like an Alpina or Schnitzer front splitter on this car to make it look a little bit more aggressive. Schnitzer would be cool, then it can match the Z3, which has got a AC Schnitzer front splitter on that, and as you can see, that makes that car look a little bit more aggressive. But I do love the Alpina splitters on this with the Alpina lettering on the front, so it's trying to find one of those. However, that's it for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you're not yet subscribed, then please hit the subscribe button and make sure that you click the bell icon to get updated with all of my latest videos. I will be back probably within a few days, fingers crossed, with something else that's going on and updates as to what's happening with some of the other cars. See you in the next one.